Naomi Frank, a mother of 4, lives in Tennant Creek, 500 kilometres north of Alice Springs. At 10 a.m, it's already hot and there's no power.
Especially when you got little ones and it's very hot. We need aircon in the house.
Naomi is one of more than 15,000 Indigenous public housing tenants in Australia who prepay their electricity using cards.
That's how much I owe. That's how much I have to pay off my power.
If the card's not topped up, the lights go off, the air conditioner stops and the fridge gets warm.
Can't do washing or charge my phone. I need power first.
So she's off to the store.
So, how can I help you?
I just want to put power.
How much would you like?
60?
60.
Yes, please.
In the 1930s, Tennant Creek was the site of Australia's last gold rush. The temperature can stay above 40 degrees for weeks at a time. When we visited, grass fires had been burning near the town for nearly a month.
It gets pretty hot here sometimes, but in the summer, 45 degrees, that's normal for us.
Oh, bloody hot out there, mate.
Better come inside then, eh?
Which means the best place to be is inside, if the air conditioner is on. 74% of homes on power cards get disconnected more than 10 times a year.
I've even seen some tragic outcomes of when people run out of power and their oxygen concentrators run out and they can no longer breathe.
It can also be deadly for people like Norm Frank.
Sometimes we pump our aircon nearly all day and all night.
Norm's a dialysis patient. His medicine and body need to stay cool.
When I was a little kid, all I had is a cold breeze coming from underneath a shady tree.
While nearly 1 in 3 Australian households have rooftop solar, Norm is the first remote public housing resident in the Northern Territory to have panels on his roof.
I went over to Simon House in Alice Springs. And, hey, mate, what it costs you to put that up to? You know what, I like to have one of them.
A simple idea that quickly became very complicated.
The answer to a social housing resident coming and asking regulatory agencies if they could install solar was an automatic no, but it had never actually been explored until we undertook that project.
Lauren Mellor took up Norm's case. She helps First Nations people access renewable energy.
Without a whole range of partners working with Norm and his family over a year to achieve connection status, I don't think we ever would have seen a prepaid meter customer in the Northern Territory with access to solar energy, which is crazy.
When Norm left home for a few weeks, his solar panels kept feeding power into the grid, earning him hundreds of dollars in credit.
It's a big difference now for me. That's our new future today. So you don't have to be digging in your pocket, like I was saying, and, paying for power every day.
But without another big fight, he could be the only beneficiary.
We're still finding that 2.5 years later, there are still barriers in front of social housing residents who want to access solar.
I don't know why they're not utilising our greatest resource. They're one thing for white people, but another thing for a black person.
One household can spend up to $40 a day on prepaid electricity.
You got a 3-bedroom house and you got 13 to 14 people living in the house, so you could imagine how stuffy, how hot, and how much power that house is going to use up.
Complicating the picture is the fact houses in the Northern Territory are built to a lower energy rating than other states, something Jimmy put to the test in his own house.
I'll put this candle up against this wall and left it there for a week and a half. We're supposed to live in these houses. and a candle can actually melt.
They're building a house, as Norm describes, like it's in England. Tiny little windows, really thick walls, minimal breezeways, really hot houses.
We found a consensus that public housing in the Northern Territory is badly designed and poorly maintained.
That's one of the wires hanging on the bloody roof there, mate.
Norm left home while his house was being repaired, but he's still not happy.
Some of these walls still got a hole in them.
He wants better for his community. So he started Wilya Janta, an Indigenous housing initiative.
I want to see changes. I want to see Umbrani people moving in houses that, what they want, how they want to build it. In their way.
Norm and Simon have teamed up with architects to design houses better suited to the Territory's often extreme conditions.
It's all about the kids' future. Wilya Janta means it's standing strong. That's why we've got to stand strong, as a house is going to be standing strong as well.
I find it extraordinary that the technology is there. Like, insulating houses is not a particularly new technology or a particularly expensive technology. there's so many issues that get raised in a story like this. But the solar issue is the big one because a lot of these people are on, not a lot, but there's a high percentage of people in these communities who are on things like dialysis who need electricity just to survive. So how does this happen?
As shocking as it is, I mean, the hopeful takeaway, I think, is there's a very obvious solution to some of this.
Yes.
And it's getting solar. And there's so many stories, I think, that we learn about or read of where the solution seems almost impossible.
Yep.
It strikes me that this is one where some smart brain somewhere in Australia is going to say, you know what, I can solve that.
Yeah.
Well, the Northern Territory Government is looking into a solar trial in 2033, so it's a long time away. They need to get
Surely
onto it
that can
fast.
happen
It's got to
quicker.
be faster, right?
So the NT government says it doesn't make energy payment systems based on race, and you can support Norm's housing project if you're interested in doing that. It's called Will You Janta, and you can find it at willyoujanter.org.